think we're launched. So let me grab the material and I'll show you that right now. Awesome. Thanks for the thumbs up. Really appreciate that. So if you have questions about the mind, about the body, about the Oh, hello, 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 and welcome. Hopefully, I'm coming in loud and clear. Welcome, Dr. Kevin. It's Transformation Tuesdays. We're live in a couple different channels. So let me get a couple things oriented on my end. I'm sitting here chatting away with Instagram. Instagram, they got a tough shot. You got a tough life right now. Instagram doesn't get a lot of the bells and whistles that I'm streaming other places. So, gave them a little sneak peek on what's happening today. All right. I just got so busy. I got my coffee upstairs. I totally forgot to get the coffee. It's been an interesting day. It's Tuesday. Now, if you don't know, I want to start with this. We're in a major shift point in reality in life, and it's playing out in your personal, physical, day-to-day life. Whether it's your relationships, there's definitely stuff going on there, or whether it's going on in your career, whether it's going on in your education, whether it's going on in your personal growth, your financial house, your creative house, your children. When I say the house, what I mean is like, when they say get your house in order, what they mean is get your life in order. All right, so. Now, people know me personally as Dr. Kevin Jarina, and I'm a board-certified chiropractic physician by trade, and I've been in practice for, coming in on 14 years here, and my personal journey has taken me really because of my own search for my own healing and health, and Instagram, I want to make it set up a little better for you. We'll be getting a studio here one of these days. That's on the ask list. And that looks a lot better, a little more square. Depending on what system you're looking at in astrology. Now, I don't think it's a hot topic. I'm going to use that word sometimes. The planetary positions, the luminary gravitational effects on humanity. I'm a Virgo, so I like things in order, and otherwise it's just slop fest. So, so that being said, my personal journey has caused me to study the relationship of the mind and the body in life, and what causes breakdown and what causes positive expression, positive rejuvenation. And so essentially, this has taken me on a journey of looking at all things, and it started with very muscle, bone, ligament, and tendon kind of thinking, and that took me to nervous system, which got me into into a lot of topics from that point. However, the thinking, the psychology of life, if you ever heard of Carl Jung, if you ever heard of different famous psychologists, different techniques out there, different bodies of knowledge like neuro linguistic programming. And then you start getting into the brain waves and different energy fields within the human body, and then there's energy fields that surround the human body. Oh, that's a big download. So hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. Let me check in on the chat. If I'm not coming in loud and clear, please let me know. I have made a couple errors in the past over the last, I think I've been broadcasting over a year now. That's exciting. And I definitely made a couple errors over the years. So over the months, I'll say that. So let's get to the chat. And if you're getting some value of what I just said, hit some hashtag value. What are you reading? What are you looking at right now that relates to something on that topic? Whether it's weight loss, whether it's thank you on Instagram, whether it's personal growth, whether it's financial growth, whether it's relationship health. There's a lot of topics we can talk about because we're really talking about our thinking patterns, our experiences, our beliefs, our behaviors, how those things get into our lives, how do we come in with a personality, the whole conversation of nature and nurture, and then how I apply it to the human body. You may be saying, look, man, you said you were a chiropractor. How come you're talking about the mind? You're talking about planets. Well, I'm going to show everybody here on all the streams what I'm talking about with that. So while I'm saying hello to everybody and checking in on the volumes there, I think I'm coming through loud and clear. All the indicators look good. Nothing's too crazy on that end. And let's see here. I pulled a bunch of articles up. I found this awesome website from someone I follow. I'll give a shout to them in a second. I'm going to pull up the feed here. Let's take a look. What do we got? Yes, here it is. All right, it's called SolarSystemScope.com, and it shows, and Instagram, I'll show you in a minute Instagram, so hang on tight. Let's see if I can get this into a small window, show everybody. So it has like this really amazing 3D rotational model you can play with the solar system to see where the position of planets are. And okay, I hear some questions out there. We're talking about DNA. Yes, we'll talk about DNA in a second. So thank you for that. Hang on there, and we'll get to DNA. And so I want to make sure the desktop volume's up because it was some cool music. It has some cool bells and whistles. And then I'm gonna pull up Instagram here, pull them around for everybody. Part of the mess around here. Let's see. There we go. All right. So let's hit this play button. Hit the start. And it's loading up. Get that centered. All right, here we go. Sorry, trying to do like 3 things at once. Yeah, I'll get a producer here, get a studio up and running here soon enough. So turn the volume up right there. All right, so I don't know if the audio is coming through for everybody else at home. I don't think it is, to be honest. However, so you know what? Let's just turn it off for me because it's pretty loud for me. What we're seeing here is, oh man, there it is. Okay, so we get here. We're seeing today. I know this is what we're on today here. Man, I wish I could get a better. I should be prepared with the other technology. But here we have the planets: Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Mars, and let's see here. I don't know if I can operate in this much a small window. Sorry, everybody. There's the clock. And I'm going to do some quick Move that screen around right there. So it's on. It's on. I have it on March 10th, which is a couple. It's today, and so right now Mars itself is what's called stationary direct. Mercury is stationary direct. So it has all kinds of effects, and it's like action planet. But what I want to point out is this alignment right here: Pluto, Jupiter, Mars, Earth. All right, hopefully we can see that alignment on all the channels I'm showing. All right, right there. And then if we go back in time to this past holiday season, December 14th, we get that. And then we have this other alignment right here. Now, I know on the streams everybody can't see it, but we have Pluto, Saturn, Venus, and Earth are all forming this alignment here. And oh man, sorry Instagram, we're going all over the place. And so these planets are lining up, and they don't line up this way very often. If I can, let me set this up. I'm going to show some I'm going to show something I found here, and we're gonna fast forward. We're gonna go back in time. Let's go back like I'm gonna go back in time a couple months here. All right. So we got that going backwards in time a couple months, and then I'm gonna set this so it goes. We'll say it goes 3 days at a time. Let's go a little faster now. Let's go a week at a time, and just sit and watch for a second, and I'll try to line up everything. Sorry about the lights and the glares, but see if you can see the planetary movements. Now there's a lot of things moving, and there's a couple of things that are asteroids, like the Ceres. You see right there, just above the sun. But watch how fast Mercury goes around. Watch Venus and Mars and Earth, and now you can see at the top of the screen, Jupiter. And depending on where you're watching it, Jupiter is coming into alignment with Saturn there and Pluto. Like, these are major bodies in the solar system that are aligning. And then we start getting into, where are we now? We're in July 2020. So even as things move forward, we get these major alignments where things are happening. And you see behind it all, there's these glyphs. All right, these are the stars, and these are the signs that people have labeled as the planetary. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm dropping the ball here. But anyway, these astrological signs. Well, these are just patterns people notice in the sky and the sun, and it's just where things are occurring when the sun essentially comes up from the horizon in the morning, and people are tracking what shows up at night when the moon rises, when the sun rises, and all these planetary alignments have an effect on the planet and the human body and the human mind and life's events. All right, so I'm going to refresh this page because hopefully, I'll tell you what, I will encourage everyone to pop on this. What is it called here? It is. I'll just give it a shout out again. SolarSystemScope.com, and I saw this from watching David Palmer to Leo King, and I have some arguments about different systems of astrology. However, that being said, there's certain things you can't deny, and that's the position of the planets. And he has got a great gig in the first class experience. So when you click this start button, and this thing starts loading up. And I'm sorry, the stream, you can't see a lot of it there. That might be better. Let's see here. There's some fun. There it is. It's just got some great music. It gives you great imagery. It brings you right in to show you what's actually going on. Now, I'll say this. If you are in the camp of Globe, if you're told, type of follower. However, there may be information out there that's showing us that there's other parts of our reality that we just don't quite see. So there's some great imagery, great video, great information. It was really a first-class experience playing with this website. So I'll recommend that. But I'm hoping, I'm wondering. Let me get everybody organized here. I'm hoping. Let me bring everybody back here. Let me bring myself back. Let's calm things down. That's a lot of information. So you may be wondering how we got from talking about the book here talking about planets and space and astrology. And I'm hoping you're finding something interesting. If you got something interesting going on, type in hashtag interest. Type in like hashtag wow. Ask a question. Now we're going to be talking about DNA in a second. Okay, keep everybody interested in that because DNA is the foundational programming of life, right? You have these. Let's pull up an image of DNA, and I might pull up a website. Oh, the name of the site. People don't see the name of the site. That was called Solar System Scope. SolarSystemScope.com. And I got a different website when I typed in DNA to a search. So when we talking about DNA, you got to understand there's really a limited number of components. However, there's a very significant number of combinations. And what we're finding with DNA, what I understand currently about DNA is that it has the potential for a lot of different variety, and this DNA is not the be-all and end-all of the programming. It contains options. And based on the environmental factors that you find yourself in, a DNA component, like an app on your phone, will turn on or turn off. It's a very generic understanding and of what's the new understanding. And one of the leaders of that understanding I would refer to is, number one, the science of epigenetics. Number two, Dr. Bruce Lipton, one of the original scientist on the Genome Project itself, and from a traditional type of scientist where you would expect who that is, boy, what a 180. Talking about biofield consciousness, psych abilities, intuition, knowingness, creating reality, law of attraction, natural law, spiritual law. These are the things that we talk about, and he's been proven, how do I say this? He's been providing science that provides the evidence for holistic practitioners such as myself. I'll leave it at that. So DNA, let's take a look here. Here's a DNA model right there. Right. Click on the picture, just the 4 base types: adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. And they have all these different combinations. And you have RNA, DNA, messenger RNA, transfer RNA. All these things play a game in constructing and deconstructing and copying the genetic code. And it's like if you've ever used a photocopier, copies make copies over more copies over more copies. What are the effects of that? And if you ever tried to photocopy stuff, it gets blurry over time the more times you copy it. Now, there's a factor that's associated with something called telomeres, and this is in. Unless I look it up, this is the nature of technology now. Sometimes my brain. So what that means is, I believe it's a part of the nucleotide sequence. So here we are. The telomere length is the determining factor of the quality and length of life. It's associated with that. Maybe not the determining factor. It's a sign of what's going on. So how do we restore telomere function? Well, it's diet and exercise and proper thinking. How about them apples? You ever see the commercial where they say, if diet and exercise fail, well, the point is they don't fail. Now, there's a huge conversation on the word diet. That's a word loaded with bombs in itself. And it's the eating style, eating habit, the psychology of eating, food selection, quality of food, quality of the sourcing of the food, and how they're growing the food. It all affects our DNA. See, our DNA is affected by what's called the environment. The science of epigenetics has demonstrated very clearly that our environment affects our genetic activation. Well, how do we get here? We were at page 65. Well, that's important because we were talking life as a Mandelbrot. And what is a Mandelbrot? If you go on my YouTube channel, I have one of my first videos I ever really produced where I prepared content and made slides and put a whole presentation together. That's on my Dr. Kevin Jarina YouTube page, and it's called what is the name of that video? Anyway. I dive deep into this topic, and I show this great video of a Mandelbrot. And Mandelbrot again is like a telescope, and we have this ever increasing. And if you could use a term that you would find in, say, like Ayurveda or the yoga community, is this ever unfolding flower of life. Like the lotus flower, the 1,000-leafed petal, I believe, is the 7th chakra, right? It's up here, right? So this is a symbolism of continual expansion of knowledge and understanding. And so the fallacy is that we think we know something, we think we have life figured out, and then boom, the rules change. Well, we can start to get a grasp on the timing of events, the timing of rules, with the big clock in the sky, as Crow 777 put it. But I've been calling that God's clock the big clock in the sky. I've been making clock analogies for that for a long time. It is an awesome analogy. And so what we need to understand, though, is that some of these things that I was showing that are coming together, right? They're coming together. And I lost the space where I was at. But where they're coming together here, in fact, today's a very important day, and I'll say this: March 22nd, there's another big transformation moving forward again, and this is about creating your greatest life. That's what this is about. If I could boil it down to one statement, all this talk about astrology and astronomy and the position of the planets and the movements of the stars and electromagnetic effects, I'm going to show you here in a second, because, well, let's just pull it right now. I love when it does that. All right, I can get you the title of this page right here because of a couple things. Now, I just want to show you relationships. You infer for yourself. I'm just going to show you relationships. All right, there we go. That works great. Well, let's consider tides. We know, and I'm on sciencing.com, and we're talking about tides. We're talking about the levels of tides change, the high tides, low tides. And I'm going to roll right down to the last little paragraph here. It's a quick article. If the moon... It's hard to read here. Let me get this. You like 3 monitors. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can get that. That looks better for me to read, at least. All right. So if the moon is at its perigee, which is the closest point in relationship to the Earth, in its orbit around the Earth, the tides can also be affected. Combined with a full or new phase, a moon at its perigee can produce the highest and lowest tides of all. Scientists can easily predict these high tides, the highest of tides, so that warnings can be issued for possible coastal flooding. So let me say this again. Scientists can easily predict these highest of tides so that the warnings can be issued for possible coastal flooding. We can predict it because it's extremely accurate, the timing and the rhythm and the pattern of these celestial bodies. This is what the whole thing, and depending how old you are, this is the whole thing about December 21st, 2012. It was the end of the world. It was the end of the Mayan calendar. It was as far as they clocked it. And why? Because a cycle was completing. It had basically everything, all the hands of the clock. And this clock, I used to say this. I used to make up numbers. Really, 27 hands, all of them just, one hand is spinning around like 1,000 times a day, and another hand taking 200, 300, 400 years just to go around once. And imagine how many times. And then to make it even more complex, there's other factors, but we're not going to add that to the clock right now. So the whole point is, we know that the moon cycles affects the tides, and I would venture to guess that this isn't a very in-depth article. Yes. And so there's just more of that. I just had some images. I had to restart my computer. That's why I was started late. I thank you for everybody for being patient while I was getting going. And if you're just tuning in, by the way, let's bring you back. Let's recap where we're at because it's 5:30. I usually am wrapping up by now, but I'm really excited. I'm really having a good conversation right now. I'm really appreciating being here with you today, and I'm happy that you're finding some value. Let me check the chat. Make sure if you got any specific questions, let me know. And otherwise, let's see what we got here. All right, we're doing good there. Doing good there. All right. So, we're talking about, I was just showing people moon cycles and planetary cycles and the position and the timing of things. We're seeing cycles coming to an end and now restarting that are lengths of well, a moon cycle, 28 days or 29 days. There's a sun cycle, so 365 days. And there's other cycles with Mercury that, what's the exact number? Like 72 days. And there's other every planet you can think of and other astral bodies that impact how these forces line up and pull. And why am I saying forces? Well, it's because it's electromagnetics. Okay, and think of it like an EKG, an MRI in the world of health. MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. They're using magnetics to take a picture of the human body. EKG, echocardiogram. They're using electroencephalogram or electrocardiogram. What do you want to talk about? Sound waves, electric waves. We're measuring energy. Now I made a jump, but what I was going to make a jump from the planets to the moon cycles affecting the tides to the human body and percentages of water. The argument can be said, but pretty much the lowest numbers I'm finding is 60%. Human body is made of 60% of water. The higher estimates, we're talking 75. And on a weird chemistry kind of level, you can argue 99% water. I mean, what is water? Hydrogen and oxygen. Well, how much hydrogen is in the body? H. Hydrogen is part of everything in the human body. Same with carbon. All right, let me read it. I got a comment here. Let's see here. Yeah, time and human concept is, well, right now we're operating a man-made construct, and different calendar systems from different periods of time don't necessarily jive with what we're doing right now. And are we really in tune? That comment, by the way, of Rasheen, that's spot on. Time has changed. The feelings of time. It feels like there's a lot of excitement, fast-paced energy, but there's also this really underlying tone of the long road. I'll just say it like that. No, I have. I guess I'll call it a side hobby of looking at the stars and following the movements. I am no way a professional interpreter. That's what I. But basically I watch it every day, like the weather report, because I call it the consciousness weather report, because it's like I wondered forever why one day I would wake up feeling like phenomenal, just like I'm kicking butt, everything's working out, life's good, and then other days it's like a train wreck, man. And so there's lots of different things. Now, Rasheen, there's a comment coming in here, and so there's a huge conversation going on. There's more than one system of measuring the planetary movements. In the West, we have the tropical system. In the East, you have a Vedic system, and then you have Chinese astrology. However, there's in astronomy, there's a term called sidereal, and that's for what that term means is as far as I currently understand it, it's the accurate positioning and movement of the planets and the stars. So there's a field of astrology. And that word astrology is loaded. Basically, what we're looking at is the movements of the stars and planets in the relationship of where they're appearing in the sky And so, how do we know where they're appearing? By the backdrop of the star system that we can see. So it's like you can see that Orion's belt. There's 3 stars in a row, and you can make out like a stick, like a little man. So if something's happening, if like all these planets are hanging out in that spot, people will say, "Oh, well, let's say Venus is in Sagittarius or whatever that, whatever it's called." Still working all that stuff out. However, there's some basic concepts, some rules to the game that I inherently understand when I began to study this. And it's basically nature. It's looking at patterns in nature. The sun rises and falls, right? But the moon comes up, right? There's a sun and the moon effect. There's this whole yin and yang thing going on. And so how this relates to the human body is we are reflections of that itself. And then because we are water and because these things affect water, not because, but it's a fact. We are affected just like that is affecting us. And I had more to go with this, but nonetheless, our subconscious, these planetary movements, we know, and I was just watching a webinar about how there's different sound wave technologies now that they're testing, that they can stimulate a certain brain area and they can activate the function of that brain area. Now let's imagine you're activating the center that's associated with anger and pain. What about the center that's associated with joy and pleasure? So we can stimulate this externally. I stopped pretty suddenly on purpose. And so when we have states of emotion, states of thinking, states of being, we express this electromagnetic fingerprint. People can call that aura and chakra, and it's like a system that filters in and out. There's a flow in and out, as above, so below, as within, so without. And so, yes, we have to be the captain of our own ship in the waters of life. So that being said, peace to you in your journey. Work towards the things, put energy into things that are bringing you up, bringing you positive vibration. Now, there's going to be things that are challenging you, and some of that is your own stuff you got to wake up to. Your own behaviors, your own attitudes, your own belief systems. We've been taught many things that are inaccurate or at best inaccurate. At worst, harming you, keeping you limited, keeping you down. And so we are powerful beings. And what I'm sharing is that there is a way to understand the secret language of your body, this subconscious aspect that's connected to it all. The party that's connected to it all is communicating to you, and your work, and in my personal experience, your work is to identify how to listen to that voice. And that's what people call intuition. People call psychic ability. You know, people have all kinds of fun words with that. Sixth Sense. There's movies, there's TV shows, all kinds of fun things. However, that's a reality, and we are evolving to understand that. We've seen the chemical revolution, we've seen the industrial revolution, we've seen the internet revolution, technology revolution. We are working on the age of mind and age of brain, and when people are talking, someone mentioned, I saw up there, Age of Aquarius. So how I got into talking about different forms of astrology was, we're not in the Age of Aquarius in all the systems. And some of the other calculations of the sidereal, the accurate position of the stars, and we're still 700 years away. So what that means is we are in the age of Pisces. What does Pisces represent? Spiritual growth. I mean, we are still waking up. And so if you go by the sidereal astrology methodology, right now, we are expanding and shifting perception. And when you expand and shift perception, you expand and shift your reality. It's a fun game, isn't it? Now, there's so much symbolism in the world, and I don't want to dive right into it right now. But words mean things, and words have multiple meanings, and words have multiple depths of meaning. And so we're talking about changing and shifting perception perception is here, the sixth chakra, and we're here, seventh chakra, receiving guidance from divine, spirit, oneness, infinite intelligence. People call that God. So as we are expanding and shifting our perception, what we consume shapes our perceptions. Not just food, not just video games, but ideas. Even things you can't see or touch can shape how you think and feel. So be mindful of that when you're walking forward in this world. Indeed, I feel like I am just rhyming and rocking tonight. So it is 5:45. If you stay with me this long, what's going on next? I am going live on what's called Decode Your Pain Transformations. That's one of my private groups where I teach people the content of the book. I help people walk and figure out how to understand the secret language of their body so they can live their best life. Because when we can understand where we're out of balance with our authentic self, well, then we can move forward in life with much more confidence, with certainty, and actually learn how to properly bring life to us, things that we desire. Yes, law of attraction, it works. However, there's a lot of stuff in between the pages, in between the lines of understanding of the laws of attraction. And so I want you to get good things in life. I want good things in life. And what I'm understanding is when I do good things out, when I figure out good ways to deliver content, provide good services, good products, good recommendations, do good deeds, whatever that may be, whatever's in my wheelhouse. When I deliver that, well, good things come back to me. And I love that. Oh, yes. Wow, some great comments tonight. I appreciate your time and attention. We could chat a lot more. So if you want to get connected to the transformation program, in Instagram world, if you're on the Transformation Co., you go to the bio. There's a link there. Depending on what link it is, it's either going to take you right to the right page with the free download content and the get on the email list. And look, I only have a couple emails going out right now, nothing crazy. Although I'm building stuff because that's the nature of this world. I want to give you content, give you deals, and give you all. I'm a creative. I'm an artist. I produce insights, and this is what chiropractic is. And there's an art to chiropractic, not just a science and a philosophy. And so I'm an energy healer. I do all kinds of different things. Herbalism. It's a beautiful game. So with that being said, get that free stuff. There'll be an offer to purchase the book for, basically it's you cover the cost of the shipping and the basic coverage of the book. So you're paying less than $10, I believe. And then from there, there's an offer to get into the program, which it's just a one-time get in, and it's pretty low offer. And I have so much content we're doing right now. A couple of my professional friends and a couple of my we'll call them philosophy friends, and I'm putting out all kinds of good stuff. I'm going to go live there. We're going to do a Q&A right now, talk to anybody about the book. We didn't get too deep into Life as a Mannerbot, but we're going to talk about Life as a Mannerbot in the chat tonight. I'm going to show a video that I was talking about earlier. So get on board. Love to help you through this journey. That is really my calling. I had a moment today, and I'll just have a little heart-to-heart moment before I wrap up. I had a moment today. A lot of great things are happening. By the way, that's a mantra I say to myself every morning. And I had this understanding of why I do what I do. And it was very sensitive for me, I will say that. And I've had a couple of moments recently that helped me break the walls of my heart, and which allowed me to be a little more sensitive in life, a lot more sensitive in life, and uncover the hidden stories that I was believing about life, about myself, number one. And as I woke up to those false stories, which is what I walk through in the book. I mean, I'm living. I wrote this book because I have all these insights and breakthroughs and experiences, and then basically life gave me another go around. Like, do you really understand what you wrote? That's what divine gave me the task to do, and so I got to write another book. I got a couple of books to write here, and so that's what's coming out on the video content, because right now it's easier for me to talk about this stuff, and then I'm gonna package this into a fun book. However, the second round of personal life stories is giving me the understanding at another level and depth of what I wrote in this book. And also, there's actually a couple things I would delete out of this right now. I want to thank a couple of my patients that have been having big conversations with me about this stuff. We really go deep on this, and I really appreciate that. So that's what we go into on the transformation program, and I'm going there live. I'm already behind schedule, but that's okay because I'm having fun with you talking right now, and that's what's most important. All right, any final thoughts? Text me, message me, hit me up, get connected. Go to the webpage, drkeving.com. That's my main practice site. That's getting upgraded as well. There's a lot of changes happening. There's a lot of shifts and movements going on, but we are reconstructing our reality. Get on board. Your life, your greatest life is at hand. Take it. Make it happen. And allow things to come to you. Because when you set that intention and you can find ways to gamify the system, I'll say that. When you learn that, all right, and I'll drop a name for you right now. All right, so get your pencils and pens out. Get involved in this knowledge, and this is actually what I'm going to be delivering with a friend of mine very, very soon. We have a great program coming out in the transformation program, within the transformation program, and it's called Mindset Matters, and it's all about Napoleon Hill and his work, and his lifetime and his legacy work of accurate thinking. All right, blessings and best regards. I'm Dr. Kevin Jarena. Peace. It's a new world out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's yours if you want it. Just find a way to allow it in.